We've all experienced it, the aha moments that we talked about yesterday. That is when things from our past and our subconscious percolate up into our conscious state. Isn't it crazy how in the morning sometimes you're taking a shower and all of a sudden something just pops into your head? That's what's happening. So there's a dialogue, there are two dialogues going on at every given time. You have your internal dialogue that we can hear, and then there's the subconscious dialogue that we can't hear. And that subconscious dialogue is happening 24/7, 365. And this is the dialogue here that I'm going to show you one very simple step how you can change this dialogue. When you change this dialogue, all of a sudden what starts to happen is, so if these are the problems that we talked about earlier, those are these little boxes signify these problems down here. So if you made a list of your top 10 problems, your top 10 challenges, what I'm suggesting is instead of focusing on them, trying to solve them, just know for a fact, I need you to know this, that you already know how to solve that problem. It's in your subconscious. You have the wisdom to solve it. And if you don't, you'll find it. We have that ability. Sometimes you're trying to think of the name of a movie or an actor, and then you wake up the next morning, it's just there, right? Miraculously it comes. It's not like you can't ever forget anything. It's always there. We just have trouble accessing that information. So it's like a computer with a hard drive, but we're only using a tiny bit of the hard drive because the link is broken between the main hard drive and the little, the little bit of accessible RAM that we have up here. So the secret here, guys, is first of all, just to know that you have it. The answer is there. So when somebody says, well, I don't know how to do that, or they throw their hands up in frustration, like, I just don't know what to do. It's bullshit. That is such a cop-out. And nothing makes me more angry than when people are too freaking lazy to dig and to solve the problems, and to do it intelligently, because banging your head against the wall like you've been doing for the last 1,000 years, like everybody else does, it's going to get you more of this. Trying to solve your problems using logic and rationale, not going to happen. This is why they say creative genius, musicians, some of the most creative people are borderline insane. Why? Because their conscious mind doesn't control what they do. So they don't follow rules, they don't follow social norms, social structures. They're probably drunk or high half the time. Why? It's to turn this off. And the creative genius comes out of here. So it's like if you had to go and tear down a wall and you had a tiny little pick hammer or a huge ass sledgehammer, which one would you use? Why do we go every day to solve our problems by sitting around and hashing out with logic and rationale how we're going to solve this problem? Why do we keep doing that? Because it doesn't work. So here's the simple solution, and this isn't complicated at all. It's actually more complicated to understand how this works than to actually do it. And it's insane, because if I look at my life since 2004, and my income, and my quality of life, and it's been all over the map. It's been all over the map. But the times when I was in this trajectory, or when I was holding steady at a certain level, if I look back at those times, and I did a timeline of it, there's something in common there. See, as an entrepreneur, when you're proactive, means you're forward focused. When you're proactive, you're growing. And you're either growing or dying. Right? You're either growing or dying at any given point. How ironic that the name of our company is proactive. When I was reactive, And there's a lag time. So you can be reactive in some cases and stop creating and being proactive for 6 months or a year and nothing will happen. Because if you've been doing what you're doing long enough, inertia keeps you going, right? Keeps you going at that level. So it just takes minimal effort to stay at that level. That's why your comfort zone, you'll find your comfort zone, whatever that level is. I had it around $50,000 and I knew I could make about that every year. It took minimal effort on a daily, weekly, yearly basis to keep that level of income. Most of the energy is activated that it takes to grow in life is activation energy. It's to get the train moving. Anyway, so if I look back at the times in my life where results were the most predictable and I was having the most effortless success, where it just felt like gravity instead of pushing me down. At best, there was just no gravity. I felt like I could pick any number. I could do anything. I feel like I can fly. Literally, I feel like I can fly. And that song is like, I feel like I can fly. That state is possible. It's possible, but we will not get there by trying to cram more information into this. That's why journaling is so good, because I totally agree with Rashni yesterday. I still do all my to-do notes by hand, and I do a lot of drawing. You'll always see me doodling, because that's how I can, it's almost like a little string of consciousness I can get a latch onto somewhere in myself. I can pick up an idea, and then you can kind of work it out. And you know, sometimes you come up with shit, and you're like, I can't believe I just came up with that. It's not freaking real. That process is creation. That's what entrepreneurs do. When you're doing that, you're creating value. When you create value, you're moving up.